my rank is just dropping ridiculously, so I need to climb again and then catch you and Razeen.
As best as I can to go further in the cup.
Yeah.
That's my only goal right now.
I think I said, let me do my FPL, and the time was 2 o'clock, and the deadline was at 1.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the South African Fantasy Football Podcast, and we are into Game Week 16 now, and we are reviewing 14 and 15, so a lot to cover. How are you guys keeping?
Time's just flying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost halfway through the season, huh? Almost 19 game weeks almost done, and then we're hitting the second half of the season soon.
Yeah, we into FPL Cup
Really?
territory now, so every week is an exciting one. I've never made it far, to be honest. Like maybe 3 rounds in, that's been my highlight.
I've made it. I've had a little bit of decent runs here, and I've done 3 and 4 rounds. But then usually I get sent by some person that doesn't change their team, that has a very alternative captain that decides to perform that week. So
Yeah, it's always the dead
it doesn't
teams that
always work,
catch you.
unfortunately.
It's always the dead teams. Transitioning into that, we have FPL Bateman, who's quite known in the FPL space as quite a memester or a toxic person. Might do a thread on Enzo in the attempt to fit in with everybody else who is posting. Yeah, a lot of Enzo talk. What are you guys' opinion on that? Enzo, I put up Ahmad as well. They both Enzo's 5.0, Ahmad is 5.1. I wanted to put Rogers as well, but I felt 5.4. He's a little bit he's just slightly higher price point. What are you guys' thoughts on Enzo?
I've been considering him, I'm not going to lie. So I was initially considering Ahmad for quite a while, and then once he jumped up to 5.1, he became a little bit unaffordable for the team that I wanted to build around him, because he was actually going to free up some money for me from McNeil down to him to free up, I think, about 0.5 or something to try and help spread in my defense. I considered Enzo, and then his price went up, and then I just needed that 0.1 for Timber, and then when he went to 5, it just wrecked my plans there as well. So at the moment with Enzo, because I read a graphic today saying I think game week 1 to 10 or something, he scored like 15 or something points, like almost nothing. And then in the past 4 or 6 game weeks, for example, he's been on a great run. So they said consistency is not what you can expect a lot of, but I mean, he looks like he's getting into the box way more, especially with what Maresca is doing with Casado in at that inverted right back. And I think Lavia playing as well gives Enzo much more freedom to get into the box. So, and fixtures look great. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't turn down that for a 5 million enabler in your team that gets into the box and is on some set pieces.
I haven't really thought about him because I have Ahmad already.
why people are talking about him, but the hype is a bit unrealistic, I think. He's a great price point, 1, but you lose a Chelsea spot, 2. Chelsea got great fixtures,
Correct.
but they got great goal scorers. I think Enzo does fit in if you want a player who is a bit of a differential, but not someone who's I don't see him being so consistent as he's been. He may be. He does take corners at times, so we should remember that. A lot of people saying he's playing a bit further forward, but I watched the game and he didn't look threatening. His goal was the deflection, Palmer magic. He dribbled 3 players and tried to take a shot, hit someone, and then landed on him. It was a great finish, but it's not something that you'd expect him to be doing every week. But at that price point, I was looking at other players. So Ahmad is the other player, and then Curtis Jones was another player. Curtis Jones for me he's not a full 90 minutes player. He either starts and makes it to 70 or comes on at 70, and he has been chipping in with goals. He for me is playing the furthest forward from any of these players, because Ahmad is playing right wing, but Ahmad looks the most attacking from all 3, the most lethal, I'll say. I would say Enzo is definitely a great enabler, but I would be wary to block up Chelsea spots, because I like Jackson, I like Palmer, I like Kukurea, and Sanchez is still a good pick for his price.
I think the problem with Ahmad is consistency of minutes, because I think we've seen the Amorim rotate his squad quite a bit. So the only concern with Ahmad playing his minutes. But I mean, to be honest, he's been Man United's best player since he's broke into the team quite comfortably. So it looks like he should nail down one of those spots, and then hopefully, if things work out quite well, maybe he'll nail down that forward, the one of the front 3, maybe that right wing spot, because he seems much more dangerous in that position compared to some of the defensive work that he's asked to do sometimes.
From Enzo, Ahmad, and Curtis Jones, if we're saying those three, it looks like Chelsea are getting the most goals. Not necessarily the best team, but the most
Yeah.
goals, and that's kind of what brings FPL points at this point. Speaking of FPL points, there's a big change that might be coming, or it is coming. We got an update about the mystery chip. Um, Razeen, you were quite excited about. You want to talk about this?
It's something I've always thought about. Like, we the managers of our own FPL teams, but there are managers in the game, and how cool if one of them could assist us. And now we have assistant managers. I'm really excited about this. I feel like it's so cool, and I mean, there's so many different ways you can exploit it because so the mystery chip is called assistant manager for those that don't yet know. You can pick any real life Premier League manager to basically join your team for 3 weeks. You can also make transfers within those 3 weeks, but you don't get any extra funds to do so, and all the managers are priced between 0.5 and 1.5 million.
Because I'm still yet to wrap my head around that. And then there's the one funny rule where if a team beats a team more than 5 places ahead of them, then you get bonus points for that. So it's going to actually be really fun in terms of which manager to choose. Because if you want to go the safe pick, you'll go for one of the top managers at the top, but obviously you need to have the funds available for them. But if you want to go for more managers towards the bottom, you've got to say, okay, who's got a great run of fixtures coming up that might be playing a little bit of better team that they might be able to get results against. So I'm hoping Spurs turn it around at some point this season.
Yeah.
So with being a mid-table team, maybe they can get some results for us a little bit there.
That's the thing. Spurs seem
Yeah,
to
if Spurs
be,
and United are not
yeah,
too high up, then we can go for one of their managers and
Yeah.
cash in, or we can go call an upset. If you call an upset and you go for someone cheap, because also the manager counts as part of the player slots. So
Yeah.
only allowed 3 players per team, and that includes the manager. So if you have Arne
Oh, I
Slot,
didn't know that.
for instance, you can only have 2 Liverpool players alongside him.
this chip allows you basically a 12 person getting points for you. That's already such a big advantage. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I guess we'll have to see and how it plays out. My thing is if I'm still in the FPL Cup come game week 24 when it's available, I will use it as best as I can to go further in the cup. That's my
Yeah.
only goal right now with it. That's the only thing I'm thinking about is a good cup run. So I'll definitely, I think I'll be using it. If I'm in the cup, I'm going to be using it 24, 25, 26. Otherwise, I probably use it at the end. I wonder if it's a double game week. Would you
Yeah, but
think the
seeing as the
manager
But
will
cup
also,
play
you need
started
to make sure
now,
you have funds available. You have to make sure
sorry, say that again.
you have to make sure you have the funds available for it. You have to make
Yeah.
sure you have enough slots to bring them in. You can't use any other chips in conjunction with it. So you need to plan when you're going to wild
Oh,
card, when you're going to free hit, when you're going to triple captain. You can't. If you use this in a double game week, you could really score.
mm,
But then also you're not going to get to use your triple captain or bench boost in that same double game week.
yes.
And now we know that Liverpool are going to be having a double game week after the Merseyside derby's postponement.
as well as Sean
Ruined my
Dykes.
weekend, that man.
Imagine putting Sean Dykes in your team.
Oh, clean sheet points are a thing, are they?
That's
For
true. They
managers?
are. They
Yeah.
are. They are.
We're going to transition into the results. We'll run through this quickly because there's a lot to discuss, but we don't really need to get into all news. I want to highlight some of the talking points that I found quite interesting. So, Game Week 14, City bounce back. Kevin De Bruyne 3-0 against Forest, which was seemingly they're looking to get back on the train a little bit with Kevin De Bruyne. Subsequently, Game Week 15, they drew with Palace. So not the best bounce back. I think Haaland getting a goal in both or assist in a goal. So
Yes.
what are you
Assist in the
guys'
first
thoughts?
one, goal in the second one.
What are you guys' thoughts on City from those two results?
I'm done with Haaland.
I'm excited to
That's
see
where
them
I'm.
tonight.
Are they playing
They're
tonight?
playing Juventus tonight. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, they're playing Juventus. It's a really interesting game there. I think that's going to tell us a lot about where they're at right now.
Yeah, I'm actually going to tune
But
into
also
that
the way
game.
City have been playing since their run started, they've had a couple, I guess, bad performances in the league, but they were still having okay performances in the league and still really performing well in the Champions League until that Sporting result, I think that threw them
Yeah.
off. So I expect them to do well this in the week and then throw it away again on the weekend because that seems to be the way it's been going for them. Because I'm actually starting to think that Haaland's not been getting a rest in any game, to be honest. He's played almost every single game so far this season, I think, besides the Carabao Cup game.
Hmm.
So I'm maybe he's suffering from a little bit of fatigue as well, right? And maybe that's why his performances haven't been as great
But
recently.
we did
But
discuss
I'm
it
not convinced personally. But
that Haaland doesn't have backup. Foden played there the
Yeah,
one game really
that's true.
bad, and
Mm.
they sold Alvarez. So it seems that they need to sign. They need to strengthen in January.
I think this weekend's going to potentially be a season-defining one for them because if they can get a good win over United, it'll probably breed a lot of confidence in the team. But I mean, Amorim's beaten Pep already once this season. I wonder if he can do it with his new United team.
Next on the agenda, I'm sorry, Waseem, but we're going back into the Spurs corner. Game week 14, Bournemouth 1, Spurs 0. Game week 15, Chelsea 4, Spurs 3. What's been going on?
The Bournemouth result was just, I mean, it was a really poor performance. That didn't look like the players were interested in playing, interested in running. Like, I mean, they were very lethargic in that game. But it kind of made sense with I guess after the Fulham game, it was also a draw. So I mean, it's been three results since the City game, two losses, one draw. So I mean, the performances just haven't been there, to be honest. So I think trust in the team's pretty much gone. But I mean, a lot of players have come out recently and backed the manager and also questioned the hierarchy in terms of whether it's time for the hierarchy to move on as well. So that's been, I guess, a bit of a big thing. So it seems that the players are supportive of the manager, but I think the injuries within the defensive line at the moment's been causing more of the issues. But I actually just think they haven't been as strong going forward in terms of chance creation. So I know when Spurs play well, they create a lot of chances, even though they do miss quite a few. They do create a lot. And against Chelsea was quite sad, going up 2-0 to then collapse after that. Unfortunate. I think the players just lost their heads in the second half, lost composure, and I don't know, threw that game away. It could have been very different had a couple of results also changed in the match. But I think for now it should. It's one of those things where I wouldn't trust a Spurs player in my team for the foreseeable future until they can get a decent string of results going. Especially now with it looks like Romero might be out for a little bit longer. They said they suspect 6 weeks. Romero, Mickey van der Ven another 2 or 3 weeks. Ben Davies with his injury is also out for a few weeks. So one first choice centre back currently available for Spurs at the moment. So I suspect Archie Gray might play in centre back alongside Dragusin, and which is scary
Yeah,
with some of the games coming up. Especially I think there's Liverpool
And let's
around the
not
corner
when
as
they
well.
win. Because
Yeah,
every
no,
alternate week they win like unexpectedly, and
yeah.
then every other week they lose unexpectedly.
Yeah. Surprisingly, the best defensive results have come when it's been Dragushin and Ben Davies at centre back. So both the first choice centre backs out, which is weird, right?
yeah,
But
Very.
I think they're just a little bit more solid. I think Van de Ven, as much as people praise him for his pace, the only thing he really has is pace. And with Davies and Dragushin, I think there's a little bit more intelligence in terms of defensive capabilities. I do think without Romero, it harms our attacking play a little bit more because his ability to break the lines from defense to create space for the other players and find balls into players is invaluable where the other players nobody else in that defensive line offers that kind of penetration from the back. So he's
the
a big miss.
the next talking point is I'm sure Razeen was watching this past weekend as well. City 2-2, Arsenal 1-1 with Fulham, and then Chelsea and Spurs at one point was 2-2 for a long time. Razeen,
Yeah.
what were you thinking when you were looking at those results for our title hopes as Liverpool fans?
No, I wasn't too phased. The most striking part of the weekend for me was looking at the league table after all the results and seeing us on top with the game in hand. That was like the best sight for me. And then after last night, subpar performance, but still getting over the
Mm.
line, getting the 3 points, 6 wins from 6 in Europe. It's just incredible. The season is just getting better and better with every game, and I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it.
Be happy. Apparently, Salah has signed a 2-year deal. I don't know if you've read anything about that.
Yeah, I heard that on Friday already,
Yeah,
actually. So
Yeah, they
from
said
from
Salah
good
Van Dijk.
sources.
Yeah, they said Salah Van Dijk should be wrapped. I think Trent is the only one that's not done
yeah.
from what
So,
I've seen.
Razeen, let's get back into FPL, and let's go to you because you've been absolutely on fire.
I don't know what happened. Seriously, Mohammed Waseem said the game's off, and
Yeah,
that's when I went to Twitter and I seen, okay, the game's off. I messaged about 10 different people to tell them, guys, the game is off. Change your captain. And then I messaged my friend Ahmed and I told him, let's change our joint team captain, see what we're doing here. In my head, I was ready for Son to Saka. That was my transfer. And then even after the postponement, my plan was to just put the captaincy on either Saka or Palmer. I don't want to say I'm
Yeah.
definitely putting it on Palmer because I might have
Yeah.
actually went even a bit differential or whatever. That was my plan. Next thing I did, I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go get a coffee now, and then I'm gonna sign FPL. And I wasn't in town. I was out of town. I met a few people. Next thing I said, let me do my FPL, and the time was 2 o'clock, and the deadline was at 1. And I'm looking at my team, and I was like, oh, dearie me. So my team, I don't know if you guys saw it, but all my points were on the bench, and the
And
captaincy
they
was
all
still on
came on.
Salah.
Yeah.
They
I
had
did
to
see
come
that.
on, and the captaincy changed only at the end of the game week. So I was on like
Yeah.
30 points, and the average was above 30
Mm.
already. And right at the end of the game week, it just shot right up, and I was like delighted, and I was just waiting for it to happen. And I just wish I could have like called that Palmer haul the way it came through. And I didn't even watch that game because I had another event. But yeah,
Mm.
I was quite delighted with that. And now I think I'm 6 points behind you, Bilal. So I'm getting there. I'm gonna put you guys in the relegation zone very, very soon, hopefully.
We need to start sabotaging soon. So I'm here. I'm here for giving. I'm actually start giving good advice now. So hopefully you don't listen to us after all the bad advice we've given.
Razeen, what's your plan now? So how many transfers do you have? Are you looking to make any moves?
I have two transfers now, but I'm honestly not sure what to do. I'm just really concerned about Rashford's minutes. I don't know what's
Mm.
going on with him because I haven't really watched much of United. I haven't watched much football, to be honest, in the past two game weeks. I've just been keeping one eye here and there, but I've got that Ahmad and Rashford double up, which is a bit concerning ahead of the derby. But I've also got Son, and he just scored and he's playing against Southampton. So I don't really want to take him out now. So I might be tempted to just roll one more time.
So just to point out, because you do have
Yeah,
a
I think your
few,
team's set up as long as you can get a defense.
yeah, because you got a few things. Because Lewis is suspended for one game. Gabriel, we're not sure if he's playing. Kelleher seems out, but you can bench him. So just a few things, but I think you'd be able to field the team. It's just like I would also look at getting Rashford, um, but I don't know. I don't know who would be
I feel
an
like
ideal replacement.
Yeah, I feel like okay, I'm happy to start Sanchez now, right? For Kella.
Yes.
That's okay. I'm just a bit worried about Gabriel. I want to see if Gabriel is back, then I think I'm sorted
Yes.
defensively. Then I think I'll probably wait it out. If he's not back, then I might do Lewis out or I might do Gabriel to Saliba or something like that.
Do Arsenal playing
But
tonight?
Saliba's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, Arsenal should be
They're
playing
playing
tonight.
tonight, and I'm sure the
Yes, they
lineups
are.
are out actually. Oh
Yeah,
no, not yet. There's still
half an
time
hour.
before the lineups come out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
but let's see. Yeah, that's there's a few things on my mind, but for now, I think I'd be happy to roll and play a good 3 or 4 transfers next week.
so I am actually transitioning to my team now, and I've done what you were planning to do. If you had looked at your team, I went with the differential captain, Nicholas Jackson. So that kind of cost me, but I made the risk and I'm at peace with it. And Buemo came through, so I rolled a transfer as well. Harvard's got on the points, but I'm like really looking to make quite a few changes to my team, in the sense that I can take out Mbuemo, who I want to sell now, and I can bring in Saka. Or I can take out either Kai Havertz or Nicholas Jackson. And to be honest, I'll be looking to take out both. Jackson has good fixtures, but he came off 70 minutes. He looked very upset. I think his form is dipping. I just have that feeling. So like I'm looking, and I think Isak
Don't say
comes up.
that. Don't
Isak,
say that to me.
did you make your transfer already?
No, not yet. I haven't, but he's part of my plans.
I don't know. I'm looking at Isak because Watkins is benched. Duran scored twice in the week. I feel like Isak is the only real other option, unless I go for. You see, I can go for João Pedro and get Mbeumo to Saka, but I just don't want João Pedro. The other one is Raul Jimenez. So
I'm not convinced by him. Yeah, I'm not convinced by João Pedro at the moment. He's looking terrible, and Jimenez got two difficult games, and he comes into a great run afterwards.
yeah, so I don't know. Like who would you pick if would you go like if I take out Jackson, I can get Enzo from Buemo, and I can get Isak, and then I can upgrade my defense because I need to take out Mazraoui. He's been really poor for me. Um, and I have Trent as my big defender, but I can get Mazraoui up to maybe Arsenal defender. So that's kind of
Mm.
a premium. So I'm almost adding a premium, but I'm losing Mbeumo and I'm getting Enzo, which is not ideal. So I don't know what you
But
guys'
how
opinion.
convinced are you guys that Mbomo is not going to be a full season pick to have? What he keeps on turning up. Every time he blanks a game, he comes back stronger.
I just think his
Yeah, but he
fixtures
had,
look
I think he
hard.
blanked 3 games, 3 weeks in a row against like okay opposition. And I think against, but I mean, he's also the type of player that scores against better teams. He's on pens.
Yeah.
I think he's worth
Mm.
the risk to keep, but if you can justify using those funds better elsewhere in the team, I think with the fixtures coming up, it's not a bad one to consider moving on.
The thing is my rank and my rank has fallen big time since I've wildcarded, since I've made the changes. So I feel like I need to do something. Maybe it's a panic move, and I keep panicking. Maybe that's that's the problem. But I feel
How
like I
many
need to make a
transfers
move.
do you have?
I have two this week, and I can roll and get another one next week. But I feel like Saka might be worth it to bring him in now. Um,
Who's he playing?
Everton at home.
Oh, yeah,
So,
okay.
like I
And
have
and
Kai
and they
Havertz.
can't they can't use set pieces to score goals there because Sean Dyche don't believe in conceding set pieces, so they're gonna have to actually play and score goals.
Yeah, so that's my dilemma. So I'm gonna be looking at that. If you guys have any suggestions, even during the week, just let me know. Mohammed Waseem, we can move on to your team, and yeah, like you had for the first time when your bench would have come in handy, you had no
Yeah, I
bench.
had none. I had 9 players that gave me that actually played, which was quite frustrating. So I was also, I guess, very similar to Razeen, where I was also traveling at the time, and I said, okay, let me make some of my changes along the way. And then when I got to the destination, I had like 15 minutes left, settling, just getting myself ready. I looked at my phone, I think I looked at it, it was at one. I looked at my phone and I'm like, it's 1 o'clock, and I'm like, damn it. So fortunately, I set my team ahead of time just to say, okay, I was feeling a Haaland captain this week because I thought Spurs might do a little bit better defensively against Palmer. I mean, the 2 penalties was very unfortunate, very silly tackles there. But I mean, for the most part, Palmer wasn't really involved in the game, so I don't feel too bad not going for the Palmer captain. I thought Haaland was a better option against Palace. My moves were actually going to be I was going to do McNeil to Ahmad, and I was going to use those funds to potentially upgrade. I think Mikalenko to I can't remember who it was, but I remembered that I mean it wouldn't have made a drastic difference to my score at the end of the day because I'd probably got like 5 or 6 points more. So fortunate that I didn't do it. But I've got plans already, and I think we'll talk about all of those 4 players I have to watch. Are all 4 players I'm looking to transfer in today, or rather
Yeah,
within this week, depending on price rises. So
we can go to the players
it
to
was a bit of a
watch.
shocker, but
Like
yeah.
so, I put Nicholas Jackson and Saka up, both that you looking at, and then the other two, I'll just put that up quickly as well. Um, that's you're looking at Timber and Joe Gomez.
I have Gabriel from an Arsenal defensive perspective. Arsenal are going on a good run now. I expect their clean sheet odds to go up dramatically, and I'm not excited about Raya at the moment, so that's why I'm considering going Timber instead to bring him in as an option. So the 4 moves I'm considering Haaland to Jackson, but now you put doubt in my head with Jackson, but I'm still gonna maybe feel Jackson out a little bit longer. I might even just play with the team with Isak maybe just to see if that makes me feel better. But I'm considering Haaland to Jackson, Dwight McNeil to Bukayo Saka. That still frees up some funds, and I said my defense needs a solid upgrade at this point in time. So I'm considering Mikalenko to Joe Gomez and Lewis to Urian Timber.
How many
So those are the 4
transfers?
moves I'm considering for free at the moment. I've
Yeah,
got 4, so I've got enough, and then I'll still have money in the bank because my longer term move is to fix my goalkeepers up as well. So I'll hopefully wait 2 weeks with some money in the bank, and then I want to do Flecken to Fabianski, and then Sells to Allison.
Allison is back.
He was really great last night as well with some of the saves he
Yeah,
made. So you can see, He makes a big difference. But so those are the moves I'm considering. 6 transfers over or say about 3 game weeks, and I'll double up on Liverpool defense. I'll double up on Arsenal defense, and that's where my mind is. So I mean, ideally, I'd love Van Dijk or Trent in my team, but I think affordability is an issue. I think Konate is out for a while. When he's fit again, I'll try and see if I can rejig some funds to move Gomez up to him.
I'd be scared to take out Haaland against United.
I am.
But
But I looked at what I did was I looked at a lot of people's teams in the 100 in the world. I was scrolling through and saying how many people actually have Haaland in their team, and it was very few. So I said, you know what, right? It's not working out at the moment with him, so I might as well balance my team a little bit because my defense is just really bad at the moment. So I need something different. He'll probably go on a run, and then I'll have to find a way to bring him back. But at this point in time, I've got to get rid of him. He's got some decent fixtures coming up, but it's hurting my team like in the long term. My points are just going. My rank is just dropping ridiculously. So I need to climb again and then catch you and Razeen.
So City versus United it's arguably the game of the game week, one to watch. Pep lost to Almiron in the Champions League. We discussed that earlier. What's your predictions for that? Do you think that's going to happen again?
I can see a draw with lots of goals.
Yeah, I think I'm there as well. I can't pick a winner. City are bad, United are bad. I mean, or rather inconsistent. I may not even say bad, because I mean they are scoring goals, they're just not winning games.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I'm hoping United win just purely from a league table point of view. So, but I just have the feeling Haaland's gonna be too strong for them. But it depends which City pitch up and who controls the midfield.
And Pep's been complaining a lot recently about my players not here. Give me back my players, and then you'll see. I'm not convinced at this point in time that he's really confident in the players that he has at his disposal. So it doesn't fill me with confidence going into any game, thinking that City are gonna do really well.
Okay. Any other fixtures that you guys
January
look for?
not far. Maybe you can spend a lot of money again.
I don't know
125 charges then.
Yeah, I don't know what City are going to do. I don't know what they can do, but I definitely feel like they need a striker, and then they need to strengthen their midfield as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I think a good game this week is going to be Liverpool-Fulham, because Fulham aren't bad. They aren't playing badly at the moment, and Liverpool look like they aren't as free-flowing as they were a couple of weeks ago.
I'm scared
So
of
I think
Fulham.
that might be a very interesting game.
Fulham gave us, I think they beat us last year, a season ago maybe. At the start of the season, they really went all guns blazing. But they're looking really good. They're looking really solid. I think that's the fair answer. And Jimenez is chipping in with goals. Iwobi, and their midfield has been looking strong. I was also looking forward to the Newcastle-Leicester game. Newcastle kind of inconsistent, but Leicester scoring goals since Van Nistelrooy has been back. It's definitely one to watch.
Yeah, they had a great result this weekend, especially coming back so late in the game.
Yeah.
We lose Razeen.
Yeah, I feel like Razeen has deserted us. So let me just fix the camera. Oh, he's back. He's back. But yeah, what would I mean? Otherwise, like it seems like a pretty boring weekend. I don't see much upsets. I'll just be keeping an eye on the City United game, and I think Bournemouth West Ham.
I think Spurs if they beat Southampton might be an upset. Southampton should be expecting to win that game the way things have been going.
I know. If there's one team worse than Spurs, it's been Southampton.
Yeah, I think the Wolves Ipswich will be a good game. Maybe not a good game, but I mean it's a very important game for the league in terms of relegation. So I think that can be a big one. And also Cunha and Ait Nouria do some returns for our teams. They've been absolutely shocking.
Wolves been bad. the last few game weeks. They've just been really poor, really wasteful, and yeah. But that's all from today. I don't think we need to drag it on a bit further than that. We've covered everything. It's been a long break from us. It felt like a long break. A lot's been going on, even though we've been having one episode a week. But good luck for the game. Good luck for the FPL Cup. We'll be keeping an eye on that, and hopefully we all get through. And I'll catch you guys next week.
Cool.
Take
Looking
it
forward
easy,
to
guys.
it.
Cheers for now.